Why we waste the life of everybody? We sacrifice a lot of young people, American, Vietnamese, even North Vietnam. And now the fall of Afghanistan to Taliban, I see a similarity with Vietnam. We sacrifice our future, our life, family too. And for what?
When America gets involved in foreign wars, our military cannot fight those conflicts alone. Whether we're battling communist forces in Vietnam or the Taliban in Afghanistan, U.S. forces have traditionally relied on local citizens to take up arms. It is also those local citizens who often fight the hardest and have the most to lose when the United States decides it's time to go. Bao Nguyen is a veteran of Division 18, a South Vietnamese army unit with a storied history. Formed during the Vietnam War and trained by the Americans to take on communist forces, Division 18 was the last to stand and defend Saigon in the final battle of the Vietnam War.
I was in Xuân Lộc fighting for like 12 days, day and night. The town almost flat. We have to withdraw. But at least we show to the world that we fought at the very end.
Eventually, they had no choice but to lay their weapons down. Bao experienced the bitterness of defeat. Hundreds of thousands of South Vietnamese soldiers who'd allied with the U.S. were sent to prison camps. For 6 years, Bao was moved from camp to camp, starved while performing hard labor. When he was finally released, his family was gone.
I tried to escape to flee Vietnam. I failed like 3 times, and at the 4th time, I succeeded.
He rebuilt his life in Washington state, retiring after a long career at Boeing. But when Kabul fell in August 2021, he knew those who'd fought alongside the Americans were in trouble.
Without people helping to fight communists or Taliban, everything, the army cannot win. Cannot. So we should help those helping us before. You own them.
Among the thousands of refugees who've been lucky enough to escape Afghanistan is Mohammed, a former officer of the Afghan forces. We're withholding his last name and other details to protect his family and associates still in Afghanistan. For him, fighting the war over the last 20 years was about freedom for his people, regardless of the risks.
ځکه چې زه چې د کومو ورونو ملګرو مشري ما په غاړه لرله چې هر ځای هر مسله به راتله نو زه باوري وم چې یاره زما ورونه چې دي شاته انشاءالله خپله مبارزه مخته وړي. کله چې دا تحول راته موږ په یو ټیټه برخه کې کار کاوه. ټول افغانستان دغه ته موږ نشو رسېدی چې ټول افغانستان موږ دا کلی وی. نو تحول چې عمومي و نو موږ مجبوره وو چې راغلي وو ځکه چې موږ بچیان وو د موږ د سر خطرونه وو هلته نو نه م شو کولی چې هلته موږ پاتې شوي.
As the Taliban took over, he gathered as many people as he could for one of the final flights out of the country.
نو چې کله تیارې ډیګۍ بنده کړه بیا موږ هېڅ نه دي لیدلي. خو خلک چې دی زیاتره خلک چې دی پکې ډېر مایوسه ښکارېدل. د هغه خلک چې د 20 کاله مبارزه کړې وه ځینې داسې خلک پکې وو چې هغه خوشحاله وو. فکر د هغه غوښته چې خارج ته راشي خو زه ډېر خلک پکې داسې وو چې هغه پکې یعنې ډېر زیات مایوسه وو. مایوسي دا کړې وه په سترګو او د مخ نه معلومېده چې ډېر زیات مایوسه دي.
Mohammed is no longer in harm's way, but like so many other Afghan refugees, he's homesick and thinking constantly about those who didn't make it out.
کم خلک کم ملګري چې زموږ همسنګري دي او په افغانستان کې پاتې دي نو واقعا موږ اول اخلو ډېر مشکلاتو سره مخ دي. 10% ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
Serving a tour of duty in Afghanistan as a lawyer for the U.S. Army was Dee Dee Tran. A daughter of Vietnamese refugees, she has never forgotten her family's journey.
I just kind of grew up hearing about the stories of how U.S. service members helped the South Vietnamese people during their time of need. And so I always kind of felt like I wanted to give back in some kind of way. That was a big motivation for why I decided to join.
Like many Americans fighting in Afghanistan, Dee Dee was dependent on assistance from local citizens. In her case, it was a translator who provided a lifeline.
We were joined at the hip. We'd go off base every single day. I would say 6 to 7 days out of the week. We would go and we would visit the Afghan military judges, find out what kind of assistance they needed, what kind of training that they needed, and he would just be right there, right in between us, translating. He was always so dedicated and so good at just helping me build those relationships with my Afghan partners. I could not have done it without him.
This interview we filmed with Dee Dee took place on August 20th, 2021, 5 days after the fall of Kabul. Her former translator was stuck in Afghanistan, panic mounting. Dee Dee's my good friend. Our shared lived experience of being children of Vietnamese refugees has brought us closer over the years. But knowing she had served in Afghanistan, it was hard to see her so stressed and frantic. Time was ticking, and her translator, who she considers family, was in hiding, desperate to get out before the U.S. withdrawal on August 31st.
Hello? Abdul Jamay, how are you feeling right now and how are things around you?
Actually, I'm good, but feelings are mentally, I'm completely lost. It's terrible. Really bad situation in Kabul. We're really worried about the future of our children. If we move to the U.S. or to any Western countries, the children and ourselves, we may have a good future. But if we stay here, I'm sure we will die somehow, or we will be killed somehow.
Abdul Jamay, Bao, Mohammed. These are just a few examples of the people who have put their lives on the line to fight for the freedom of their own countries. If we go to such great lengths to protect our own soldiers, why does that not extend to everyone?
I want his safe passage to get out of Afghanistan. We owe him that. He gave us practically his life to support our presence there. And if we don't honor that, I don't know how people can trust this government anymore to do the right thing.
In part 3 of this series, we'll take a closer look at how Vietnamese American refugees are helping Afghan refugees resettle in Washington.
Refuge After War is the first season of Crosscut Origins. Submissions are open for Season 2. Learn more and apply at crosscut.com/origins.
Refuge After War is made possible by the generous support of CARE WA.